Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or massages. Come in! Come on! I've got intel. Recon is afoot.
Depot in the beat.
May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Namaste, besties. Athena, I see you. Big Cat Wave. I see you. Josephine Gloria. Are you fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely? We've got to dive into a thing or two. Because, darling dears, as I was saying in the title, they did that shiznai to you, darling dears. They did that. They, them, and they're not sorry. Like you weren't built for direct eye contact. Imagine that, darling dears. They rehearsed their lies. But you rehearsed nothing. Silence was their weapon. Their desperation. The exhale they forced became your initiation, darling dears. Divine never forgot you, darling dears. You was put in spiritual quarantine. Envy is because they can't stand that you have what you have. Jealousy is they don't want you to have it. And the hate, let me not forget the hate, darling dears, because when they get to the hate, we go straight to the 9. The hate is that they will do everything within their power to take it from you. And this is no joke. Let's press on. Let's press on, darling dears. We're going to lead with my magic bag, darling dears. There's domino, rune stones, charms. With a good shorty. The helpful initials for today, darling dears. Helpful initials are actual planetary transits and their letters tied to each planet, darling dears. Okay, your helpful initials today are V. It could be Virgo, Victory, Vanessa. It speaks about precision, refinement, and exposure. P is Pisces, a panel, Patricia, confusion, judgment, and karmic trial. D, direct, Darren, documents, truth, rebellion, and receipts, land. M, mirror, Michelle, media. Reversal, revelation, exposure. The E is for evidence, Elaine, clarity, watchfulness, forensic truth. So the letters today are V, P, D, M, and E. And as I said, they're tied to something in your karmic storyline, darling dears. The names that I gave you may not be the names, but the initials are there. The institutions are there, darling dears. Look amongst what you've got going on. Remember, I told you that. Right, let's get to the choosing. Let me turn down the music so you can hear me properly. Here's a good shorty. I'm reaching right around. Okay, first thing that my hand touches right now. Got it. Good golly. And the gosh, darling dears. We love it. We don't hate it. This particular runestone is the Chariot in tarot, darling dears. Your warrior energy has been activated. Somebody tried to put you in a crisis, darling dears. They wanted you to suffer lots of injustices, and some wanted you to go to the grave. And if you went to the grave, darling dears, if you allowed that situation to send you to the grave, guess what? They will come to your funeral, right? And cry with no tears in their eyes as they sang Amazing Grace in falsetto. When we see the energy of the Chariot, darling, this is number 7 according to the major arcana. As I said, your warrior has been activated. This is Cancer energy, water energy. Cancer and water goes to the 4th house. The 4th house is about your roots, your upbringing. It also speaks about a karmic lesson that you've learned in this lifetime, being surrounded by they, them, and that don't want you to have what you have. Imagine that. Again, with the energy of the 4th house, it speaks about your mood. They want to activate or operate, or how can I put it? They want to hijack your emotions in this situation, darling dear. Something to do with family, residence, and the 4th house is also about your home. Things that you do behind closed doors, darling dears, in your private sanctuaries. They want to destabilize you at every level so that you have no peace anywhere. Well, guess what? They forgot, right, that you were built for direct eye contact. So we have the energy of the 7, darling dears. According to the low shoe grid, the energy of the 7 is about children, and it represents autumn. Okay, we are in autumn, or in some countries you call it fall. So this is going down, Bobby Brown. Remember, I told you that. Okay, the energy of the 7 speaks about children, your creativities, as well as entertainment, darling dear. So you have children involved in this, whatever's going down. We've got the 4th house. That is the stable foundation that you have built, darling dears. Okay, let's press on. Let's press on. So the energy of the 7, according to the 48 laws of power, it's about you what? Letting others do the work for you. They're working on your behalf, darling dears, but they don't realize that they're working towards wickedness. Why? Because Saturn, right? Saturn is about to go retrograde in Pisces on the 1st of September. Institutions, people, all situations will be destabilized. Families, secrets within families, darling dears. What else? The energy of Saturn retrograding in Pisces, darling dears. It's going to expose, lean in, darling dears, that they deliberately tried to exile you to a situation where you was going to get the juice. Why? Because divine has given you the squeeze, darling dears. Why? Because you got down on your knees. And you did not, I repeat, did not get down on your knees for vengeance. You begged for understanding. You begged for peace. And divine has granted it to you, darling dears. This is why you are built for eye contact. Remember, I told you that. Let's press on. Let's press on. Let's go to the dominoes and the dice. So this will work out to be a 6 and a 1. Okay. I'm going with a 6 and a 1 because it came to mind first of all. Okay, the split of the 6 and the 1, you have a major decision to make, darling dears. But divine is telling you to be cautious. Wait until after the next new moon. I've told you many times you can download the new moon cycle from AstroSeek. It's free, right? After the next new moon, you will have to make a decision, but it will be an informed decision. You have more intel on the way. Remember, I told you that. The energy of the 6 speaks about cooperation. You could be having visits to doctors, dentists, hospital visits, okay? It also speaks about whatever was impacting you, darling dears, it's about to turn around, because when Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces, all that was on top is on the bottom, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. This race that you had to endure is not for the swift, darling dears. It's for those that could endure. Big Cat Wave, Alexis Holmes, Warrior X. I see you, darling dears. I see you. Starlight and Alexis Holmes, thank you very much for the super chat. Let's press on. Let's press on. Like your name ain't what? He or she for whom the sun rises. Wisdom will always chase them, darling dears, but they run so fast. All right. Let's press on. Let's press on. The energy of the seven, according to the 48 laws of power, it also covers law number 8, as I said. Law number 23, right? Concentrate all of your efforts. This is about you not scattering your energies over multiple different projects or ideas, darling dears. This is for you to focus and narrow it in. Why? Because you have to what? Break down every one of these Goliaths, because you are David in this situation. And remember, when David became king, he went on his knees and he begged God to save his son. He cried, he lamented, everything. But on the day his son died, what did David do? He washed his face like David. You have to wash your face, and do not, I repeat, do not lose your ability for direct eye contact. Why? Because you are the mirror. And nothing that they try to perpetrate against your godly name, your good name, darling dears, your character, right? It will not stand up under scrutiny. Why? The flying monkeys that they've reported your misdeeds to, darling dears, they're not just there. Like, they can't use social media or find out exactly what's going on with you, darling dears. They will look. You are their mirror. Never you forget that, darling dears. Yes, for some, it's been a solitary and lonely road. But in that loneliness, divine gave you the tools to understand knowledge. As Socrates told us many times, it is the key to the universe. But the biggest thing you had to learn was knowing your worth and adding tax. All right, let's press on. Let's press on, darling dears. These people gave you what? Pisanthropia. Pisanthropia, where you trust no one, right? All right. Now that I've got it in your ear chakra, let's press on. Let's get some outside energies first. We're going to go with the emotions of the situation. Give it a good shifty. Remember, you are walking with the warrior essence of the energy of the 7, darling dears, the chariot. This is new beginnings. This is spiritual downloads, darling dears. It also speaks about forward motion. You could have got a car, a boat, whatever it is, darling dears. Something tying in towards your car. They would love for you to what? Spin off the road, darling dears. Because why? They're bad mind. They would love to come and punch you in your face, chakra, darling dears, but they can't. They cannot. They have to live with the mirror. And time has run out. Tell me some true emotions around this situation at this moment in time. Thank you. We had a flipper, right? Shady. What did I say? Masks are about to slip off, darling dears. And trust and believe, whatever they done did, by the time Saturn goes into retrograde on the 1st of September 2025, all principalities, obstructions on your path will be disintegrated in the name of the Most High, Father, God, Mother, Isis, right? They're all hustlers, darling dears. Most of all, they was ear hustlers to your ear chakras, darling dears. And what happens to us hustlers? They have to realize that this is not Star Trek. You are not in the business of Klingons, right? And what did I just say? On the 1st of September 2025, you will be closing out that cycle, darling dears. What they wanted to choke you on, darling dears. What they wanted to stop you with. What God has put and placed a table before you. You will be blessed in front of your enemies. They will become your footstools. Remember, I told you that. Shady, please. Hustling, they're idle. Let them hustle. Let them spin wheels, darling dears. Let them continue with their falsehoods that they're putting on your good name. The wickedness that they're perpetrating. Let them, because Saturn don't play. Everybody, or I would say the average person, not you, darling dears, because you understand astrology or you're a budding astrologist. right? You'll fully understand what's going on. You know what's going on. The planetary energies plays into all of our lives, darling dears. This is why it's so important that you have your birth natal chart. It gives you your blueprint, your snapshot of the Akashic records. When you get predictive charts, right, it will show you how it will play out. No, you can't read someone's personal mind from an astrology reading, but you can read patterns. Once you have their date of birth, and for some, if it's your progeny, you know what time they were born. You can find out she's naive, darling dears, and draw an informed conclusion of all circumstances and situations. What's on the base of the deck? Right? Fed up, darling dears. They're fed up. They can't be fed up, darling dears. They're still perpetrating wickedness. They're not fed up. But they will be fed up, darling dears. They will be stopped in their tracks. Their mouths will be locked. And the 12th house also represents institutions, court dealings, darling dears. Everything is about to bow to you. Remember, I told you that. We have what, 29 in the chat. That is a life path 11, darling dears. An illuminator, someone who is highly intuitive. But when you get this knowledge, darling dears, you cannot, I repeat, cannot keep it to yourself. You have to share it by any means necessary. Don't keep all of this knowledge to yourself. We also have what under the energy of the 7, because the 7, according to astrology, is your partnerships. You have open enemies, darling dears. This is the dissolution of contracts. It also speaks about an ex. The 7th house, it represents your exes, darling dears. Well, guess what? Law number 29. You do the Wendy Williams. You plan all the way to the end. And don't let nobody make you think, oh, you overthink too much. Are you kidding me, blood? You have what? Courtrooms in your mind. And you come to the right conclusion. Overthink all you want, darling dears, because you will get the truth roof. Pinkies up. Don't let nobody take you off your gangster on what you can command and what you can bring into a situation. We now have 11 likes, darling dears. 11. Good golly and the gosh. You're about to be blessed. This is about your true soul tribe coming in, darling dears. Your circle opening up, but to people that have gone through the battles, darling dears. People coming towards you that have their own home, car, career, everything going on, darling dears. So don't be fooled, not for a moment. Everybody, like I said, whatever they did, when Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces on the 1st of September, and then Saturn is going to change signs to Aries on the 14th of February 2026. Are you kidding me? You are coming through with the spiritual whip. And when it goes into Aries, you will have the fire power. Remember, I told you that you are their mirror. Let them tongue wrestle with whom they want to, darling dears. Divine will bring them down and humble them. Right. Let's press on, darling dears. Let's press on. Right. Let's get some more energies around this. Look at the base of the deck. They're in their feelings, blood. Right. There's nothing but conspiracy going on. Let the conspiracy reign, darling dears. You are the mirror. Let them build their own grave, darling dears. Not that you want to put them in the grave, but then again, Pisces retrograde. Saturn retrograde in Pisces also means death. Pole bearers, darling dears. Somebody is definitely going to lose their life in this situation. Baby. They underestimated your gangster, not knowing that you bestie, would what? Do a Lazarus. They thought you was dead and buried. They thought your words and your actions, everything was locked in, darling dears. But you've pulled a Lazarus on them. They thought you was an easy mark, did they? They thought they could take you down anytime they wanted, did they? Well, that ease, darling dears, is about to be unrest. Remember, I told you that. What's on the base of the deck? Now they see how badly they behaved towards you. I told you, from the 1st of September, everything will be shown to them. Grand Rising, Mel, Big Cat, Wave, SLF. What's that? Savida? Yeah, tell me something more, right? In some situations, you are sleeping with the enemy, not just the one that's sleeping in your bed, darling. Is remember, we've got the 3rd house. Children are involved in this situation, right? People that saw you as an easy mark, right? What did I say? Extended family members. Again, we go back to the energy of the 7th. The 7th house, darling, is open enemies, exes, marriages that have been dissolved, darling dears. What's this? When Father God and Mother Isis has you, darling dears, and you have been got, whether you like it or not, darling dears, why do you think Divine made you the strongest soldier? Because you had the energy, darling dears, the forethought to bear it. What do you think you're going to get for bearing all of that? You're not just going to get a thank you. You're going to be blessed in every area. We already saw from the amount of people that was in the room and the lights, darling dears, it was 11:11 at one point. You are going to get an 11 fade where things open up for you. Movement of home, parties, celebrations, but you will be celebrating with like-minded souls, right? Oh, now they love you long time. Oh, they're getting Vietnamese, are they? Right? Listen, no shade if you're Vietnamese. I'm just using it as, let's go ahead. Allow me, yeah? Allow me, right? They've met a bigger narc, right? Somebody who is a user, a liar, and a cheater. So they're being covered by someone who is the biggest narc, a full-on Decepticon. And they thought you was an easy mask as you close out this cycle. And that cycle will close from the 1st of September 2025. Hold your gangster, Big Cat. Hold your gangster. They are going to realize that you what? You pea glitter, shit cupcakes, and fart rainbows. Fist bump. How did they dare? Because they didn't know who they were dealing with. You was sent to break generational curses. And sometimes it will get to the situation where you are the only one left within that generation. It doesn't matter. When your true soul tribe comes in, darling dears. They're not fed up enough yet, darling dears. They're going to realize that you are obstreperous, noisy, and difficult to handle. And you understand the benefit of what full-on eye contact, darling dears. You are their mirror. Leave them with the memories, the corners of their mind, darling dears. Because they're going to look at what you did in certain situations, darling dears. And it doesn't matter where they run, wherever they go, their memories are with them. As you embrace what? The spiritual gifts being delivered to you by Father God, Mother Isis. Outrageous, I know, darling dears, but it is what it is. When you're a gangster. An ibex. You've seen an ibex, right? You are the goat, darling dears. Greatest of all times. Have you seen an ibex run across a sheer-faced mountain? And they don't just take care. They run, blood. What does the yellow cards want to tell us? Oh my God, Uranus energy in the mix as well, darling dears. And again, the energy of the 7. The 7th house. The chariot energy, the warrior energy. You having a new level of spiritual understanding, darling dears. It also speaks about there's a decision that someone or something is going to make you rush. But as I cautioned you already, right? Do not make this decision until after the next new moon. The chariot always comes through, darling dears, to remind you that to keep your discipline and keep control of the situation, darling dears. You've got Uranus. This speaks about what? The 11th house. The 11th house of what? Membership groups that you once belonged to. It's also the 11th house is what? A lucky house, darling dears. This is receipt of monies, darling dears. This is receipt of fame. It could speak in the form of awards, right? Certifications, you got your certifications, whatever it is, darling dears, you are about to be blessed in the face of your enemies. Why? Because they left you for dead. Or they wanted you dead, darling dears. They wanted to sing, "Shall we gather by the river?" Remember, I told you that. But every secret is about to be exposed. When Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, all karmic debts are being called in and must be paid. What's on the base of this deck that refused to turn over? Right? It speaks for itself, darling. Is they're wishing, they're hoping. And if they went as far as to do the graveyard Watusi to what? Rub up another batch. Because as you have to remember, when people are attacking you spiritually, darling dears, it's their negative thoughts always directed at you. But divine gave you a shield and a covering, but you had to see it for yourself. Look at your life, darling dears. When you thought you was on your last and you couldn't go on, what did you do? You cried into your fist, you had a good sleep, and the next day you was back on it, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. It doesn't matter what Tuesdays they did through whatever graveyard. Everything is about to be reversed when Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces. Your karmic debts are up for what? Calling. Somebody's going to be suffering through the grief, darling. Like I said, there are kidnappers of the truth. And whatever is coming towards you, Uranus, the 11th house, it will last you to your old age. We've got the energy of Uranus and Saturn. And Saturn don't play. Saturn, the master of times, the rules and the regulations. Well, guess what? Look at the rewards that you're going to be blessed with after the 1st of September, 2025. Let's go to the decks, darling dears. To the decks. No, we need to pull one of these first. We're going to go with the Witch's Oracle Intel deck. Base of the deck, darling dears, you hold the crown. And your responsibility, darling dears, is to realize that you must always lead with your discernment and your intuition. Go within, darling dears. Go within. Because it's come up as a female, it could be a woman that's leading the charge. It could be a Mitch bitch or a bitch Mitch. One of the two, darling dears. Savida. Oh, you're in Amsterdam. Big cat wave. Love it. I don't hate it. Let's draw something from here before we press on. All of the cards are slipping through my fingers. What's going on? Whatever was slipping, listen. If they're slipping through my fingers, darling dears, they're being caught by the Most High. Remember, I told you that. Merchants of slander. You was born for that. Remember, I told you that. I keep saying it because it's the truth. Pinkies up. And never you forget to guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23, because from your heart springs the well of life. They wanted your heart to go cold. They wanted you to feel lost and in lack when divine is giving you more, 1,000 times more than what you lost. And you will be gifted with true soul tribe. But you had to go through the fire. You had to be what? Gandalf the Grey to go to Gandalf the White. Fist bump. Tell me something else so we can press on at a hot trot. What did I say? You are their mirror. Hey! Nothing like when Saturn says, and look, whatever they try to initiate, any weapon that was formed against you, it shall not prosper. It came out in the reverse. The last card, the mirror, just fell on the floor, darling dears. If it's on the floor, it's coming through the door. Whatever spell work, those negative words, everything is being reversed. What's this? Because it's your rebirth, darling dears. The rise of you. Being blessed by Uranus and Saturn for your due diligence, for you going through those difficult days and nights where all you could do was cry into your fist. Well, guess what? Stop it now. Smack yourself across the face and wash your face like David. This is your time, bestie. Base of the deck is security. Again, the 4th house, darling dears. What they try to to pollute, darling dears, and take away from you. Divine is making sure that you are secure in every way. Right, let's press on to the decks, darling dears, to the decks. We're going to get my gold deck. Base of the deck, the Hierophant, they went against everything that you felt sacred to you, darling dears. They weaponized everything against you, but guess what? The Hierophant is the second house of your self-worth. Your possessions, they're jealous of the things that you possess, darling dears. You may, Chariot energy, you may own your own car. Guess what? Not only do you own the car, you own the car note, the payment on the car. You own it, darling dears. They're jealous of every foundation that you've created for yourself. And the second house is the house of what? Open enemies. They put in a sustained attack on your self-worth. Your self-worth is not judged by anyone else's opinion. Opinions you can wipe your backside with, darling dears. We've all got opinions. But when God comes in on your behalf, know this. They're jealous of your hidden talents, your uniqueness. Right. Let's give it a good shufti. We'll dive right in. So who's going to flinch, right? Who's going to blink first with the mirror shining on them? Fell out, darling dears. Someone who is a dickhead, a dumbass, and disappointed, darling dears. Someone who wishes that they could take that cup from you again, darling dears. That imaginary cup that you're never going to offer. You'd rather cut off your left hand, your right hand, or any other indication that you would bring the situation back. This situation brought in a lot of emotions for you, darling dears. And they're not sorry, but they will be. They will be, darling dears. They will be. Lots of loss. There's a lot of regret, darling dears. Some of you are in no contact with this person or people. Why? Because you had to protect your peace. Your peace is something that can't be bought or bartered, darling dears. When you've attained it, you're not going to want to let go of it so easily. And this also shows that you experienced a lot of grief and loss within this situation. They even tried to make you doubt your overthinking, darling dear, so that you could lie in the land of regret. Good God, who wants to be in the land of regret on the rocks of life? Not I, says the big cat. Fist bump. Not I. It's time for you, darling dears, to fully shift your perspective, darling dears, and recognize the possibilities that divine is opening up for you. We are almost at the ending of August. September will be the turning point in your life. Pay attention. Remember the letters V, P, D, M, E. Person, place, or thing, darling dears. Person, place, or thing. Okay. So they're going to be blinking, yeah? Let's carry on with that. So they're going to blink, are they? King of Wands in the reverse, darling dears. They wasn't thinking about the future, darling dears. Whenever we see the King of Wands, it could represent a male or female. Because, you know, gender is fluid. In tarot, good golly, and the gosh. When we see him in reverse, darling dears, these are straight up and down. No mistaking. Narcissists. They are on the spectrum, darling dears. But they're being guided or kept in that state, right, by this particular person. Like I said, it could be male or female. They're around people that have a lot of drama, darling dears, bad-tempered, misdirected bad tempers at the people around them at this moment in time. Yeah, this is a con person. But when we see the King of Wands in reverse, this is also a reminder for you to let go of situations. There could have been violence in the situation. You could have been in a situation where your partner did their very best to dominate you, not knowing that you was the light. When that partner was around you, everything increased in their life. Why? Because they was draining your energy. They had the better jobs. And what did they do with that? They tried to beat you with it. The King of Wands in reverse shows that these are people that was very critical of you, darling dears. But because it's in the reverse, they weren't critical to you, darling dears. It was behind your back where they was working their wickedness. So they're blinking, are they? These cards are having a laugh. Because look where they are. The Tower is on them. The Tower is what? Uranus energy. Shall we go back to the evidences, darling dears? Where is it? What did I do with it? Did I put it amongst them? Yes. They're going down Bobby Brown, darling dears. Everything that they tried to do to you is being what? Switcheroo. Sent back to them. Whatever spell work they tried, everything is about to come down. Their house of cards has fallen. They're blinking, darling dears. Right? They're sorry about this. Right. Let's carry on. Don't think for a minute that they're getting away with it, darling dears. We are in the age of Aquarius. I've already done the Aquarius reading. Go back and watch my Age of Aquarius reading where you'll see what house is going to cover you for the next 19 years. And then wrap yourself around that bitch and work towards it. Fist bump. I'm just saying. Tell me something else. Yes, baby. Whatever options they had open to them, darling dears, they're crying, trying to crawl back to the situation, trying to deny that they said what they said, darling dears. It was all noted by your ancestral team. I told you, call your ancestors at any time. Why? Matthew 6:27. You took a risk when you took that exile and you took it like a boss. Base of the lying mother foe. Look, when we've got two kings on the table, the disagreements, darling dears, the disagreements and the contradictions. Did I not say that they are speaking on your name like they're talking in tongues? Let them. Remember, we are adopting Mel Robbins' idea. Let them take a deep breath, look outside your window and say, let me. It's not who laughs first, darling dears. It's who laughs last. And right about now, hey, you're going to be scared when Saturn comes through. These extended family members, a partner that you were sleeping with the enemy with. Tell me something else about these two lying mother foes. They're liars. Page of Cups in the reverse. This is a liar, immature, darling dears. And it also speaks about something broke in their past. Could be that they had experienced some form of violence or something in their life. Violence did come up already. Tell me again what's going on. They went against everything that you held dear. This is also the breaking of a marriage, darling. There's some corner of pardon the pun, but when we're talking about them, they have the children of the corner eye. Pinky is up. Everything is tying in, darling dears. Whenever we see the Hierophant on his forehead, darling dears, they are going to be restricted, right, from everything that they try to take you down with. It speaks about no stable foundations around them, right? They're going to wish that they had your words, your presence, darling dears, and your guidance. Oh, well, tell me something else about this tower. Tell me about the tower, right? Yeah, keep your block game strong, darling dears. No contact. Remember, you have the ability for what? Full-on eye contact, darling dears. You are the mirror. Will they try to approach the big cat again? Let's ask another question. Fell into my lap, darling dears. Oh, they're coming. They're coming. When we see the Knight of Peace, this is somebody working slowly, darling dears. Maybe they're looking at the abundance that you've created in your life. That's money, darling dears. Right on. Hey. because you have all of the tools. Divine is telling you to look at all of the tools again. Look at all of your evidences. Use your overthinking to understand, right? That you was what? They tried to treat you like you're a raccoon. Somebody who was used to dumpster diving. No! You have all of the tools. Whenever we see this energy, it represents third house, younger siblings, darling dears, but it also speaks about the gossip. I told you the gossip connections, darling. They haven't stopped talking and they need to shut right the fuck up. Yes, I had to use the big F-bomb, darling dears, because they don't realize the planets are lining up for them. All karmic debts are going to be paid. Uranus also speaks about you're doing something with technology online. It could also represent online learning. The third house speaks about learning. The Magician also rules the what? The sixth house. We already spoke about the sixth, your health. You're having doctor's visits, hospital visits, or something like that is in your hemisphere at this moment in time. But remember, what was wronged, right? Your nervous system, darling dears. Whatever was wronged is about to be reversed. Saturn rules Capricorn, okay? And Capricorn rules your skin, your bones, your teeth, your knees and your ears. So if you have issues in those areas, it's about to be reversed. Your joints, darling dears. Tell me something more about this wickedness. You are Trung. We don't use the S. Trung. T-R-O-N-G. And it's also a reminder when we see the Strength card to avoid the losers, darling. There's law number 10 of the 48 laws of power. Law number 6. Of the 48 laws of power. And law number 16, right? Your absence is creating respect, darling dears. But not respect enough for them to shut the fuck up. No. Look. They're going down Bobby Brown, darling dears. These are narcissists. We now have 3 kings on the tableau, darling dears. And this speaks about what? You are being given good support. For every wrong they perpetrated against you, divine is supporting you. I told you, you are covered. But you have to believe in you. I can't make you believe this. You have to believe in you. Everything I've given you, you can pull your own cards. You can come to your own conclusions. All right. Let's press on, darling dears. Tell me something more about Pennywise, son or daughter. All right? They knew what they was doing. They used your loyalty against you, darling dears. When we see the Queen of Cups on her forehead, they utilized it against you as a weapon, darling dears. The Pentacles in the reverse, they drained your opportunities. They drained your health. It could also represent destabilization of your home, darling dears. But remember, you got the 1111 fade at the top of the read. Whatever they tried to reverse, divine is going to give you back 1,000-fold. They tried to delay it. This son or daughter of Pennywise the Clown. Yeah. No rest for the wicked, yeah? No rest. They're on a knife's edge. Remember, I told you that. Everybody's praying for the first step. Stop praying for it. It's coming whether you like it or not. It's coming, darling dears. It's coming. Let's see particularly what lie is under this forensic light, the spotlight. The lies that you'd be able to rebuild again, darling dears, that you'd be able to recoup. What else are they lying about, right? Anything and everything, darling dears. Page of Wands, you could have 2 prodigies involved in this situation. And they're going to try to approach, but they don't know how to, right? Some of them, because when we see the 8 of Wands in the upright, this is a love situation. Cupid's arrows in the reverse. You reversed everything, right? Because you're the baddest of them all. When we see the King of Pentacles, now this is 4 king. No, I'm not swearing. This is 4 kings. On the tableau, darling dears. It speaks about rewards and success, which is promised to you, but you have to hold your gangster. Sometimes we got to get Latin up in this bitch, darling dears. Vinny, Vidi, and VC. You came, you saw, and you conquered, darling dears. They thought they had you by your proverbial balls. They didn't, darling dears. They didn't. They wanted you to stay in the bargain bucket. Tell me something else about these wicked people. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Thinking that they can just get away from sowing so much calamity. Trying to break the big cat who was sent to break generational curses. Many of them, right, especially partners, they prayed for someone like you. And when they got you in their hemisphere, you became their prey because you didn't know what was going on. But you do now. You're going through rebirth. Every weapon they try to form against you in the form of spell work is being reversed. What are you saying, fresh from a nap? All the meaningful connections you don't talk about or know about was sacred. You think they only ones. Bebe, oi, listen. I don't know what you said there. Well, guess what? Easter Island and Stevie Wonder on that, darling dears. Easter Island and Stevie Wonder. You make sure you hold your gangster because it's not going to be pretty after the 1st of September 2025. It's not. They will try to come through, darling dears, but you've blocked every avenue. Everything that they formed against you shall not prosper, darling dears. The five of cups, sorry, the 5 of pentacles on its forehead, darling dears. Good golly, and the gosh. It speaks about financial losses, darling dears. Somebody's about to lose their job as well. Oh, do we care? Do we care? Was we focusing on that? No, we was focusing on getting better. It also speaks about you releasing toxic relationships, darling dears, that drag you down, that affected your finances, that affected your health. Pentacles in the reverse is your health, and your health is your wealth. Tell me something more. They're coming, darling dears, but I told you they've been slowed down. And we've got the Emperor on him again. They're being stuck. The Emperor is Mars and Aries energy in the reverse. These are people, in some cases, you've known them from childhood, or they could be your children. Remember, the seven according to the Loshu grid speaks about your children. They would love a fresh start in a situation so they can F you up from the inside. You better not, blood. You better not. 9 of Wands, you are a spiritual warrior, darling dears. You've been through so much. Too much. But it speaks about your courage, your persistence, darling dears, your resilience. This is why Divine is going to gift you stability, strength. And trust and believe you are close to your goals. Things wouldn't be kicking off like this at this moment in time if you was not about to reach your goals. Remember, Uranus, the 11th house. You will be getting awards. This is being noticed by employers, receiving money from employers, darling dears. It talks about awards. For some, it could be fans, darling dears. But this is about you being blessed. And never forget, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So they're working hand in foot, darling dears. Hand in foot. Definitely new acquaintances coming towards you, darling dears. The 11th house tells me that you move like a humanitarian. Nothing wrong with that, darling dears, but you was moving amongst the wrong circles. You're going to be getting new business contacts. New groups are coming in for you, darling dears. The 11th house also represents your grandparents. Somebody needs to pay close attention to their grandparents. Why the Emperor came out in reverse. And we've already discussed medical visits, hospitals, doctors. Your grandparents, if you hold them close, they're going to need to be seen in that situation. And we've already said there's a death coming, right? The 12th house. You're prepared. You understand what's going on. But like I said, you've been notified. I've told you. You've been told. Ever forwards, never backwards. Right. So the final card I'm going to pull is, so who's laughing now? Now that the mirror is on them. Who's laughing now? Disloyal people, darling dears. People that took your kindness for weakness. Right? Base of the deck, darling dears. Because you are going to be given the last laugh. 10 of Pentacles. And opening a portal, a new beginning, darling dears. Well, true loyalty is going to be gifted. For everything that you lost, darling dears, Divine is going to rebuild you again. And yes, I said some of you may have got your circle so small you are the only soldier there, but Divine is going to give you more than what you lost. But you have to go for it, darling dears. And as I said, you've been going for it because Saturn is on its last cycle. You're about to be blessed and more than you know. But you have to hold your gangster. You have an informed decision to make. Do not make this informed decision until after the next new moon. Remember, I told you that. Base of the deck. Because you hold all of the cards, darling dears. Listen to your intuition and your discernment. And know that you will be real building, right? But you have to listen to you. That deep inner voice that tells you to go left when you was going right, darling dears. And remember, we are trying to what? Get in contact with our subconscious mind. Why? Because that's what changes the trajectory of your life. Your conscious mind, darling dears, it can be perpetrated by outside voices. That horrible voice that tells you this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But when it's your intuition, it's a quiet voice. And you'll feel it in your tummy telling you to move. Split the deck. This is what they wanted you in, darling dears. But Divine is giving you this. Divine is reminding you of this. And underneath that is the Emperor in reverse. They're going down Bobby Brown. And again, pay attention to your grandparents if they're in your hemisphere. It could be your child's grandparent or grandparent before them. Or maybe you've become a grandparent in a situation. And if you have become a grandparent in a situation, they're going to try and manipulate you with the progenies. Remember, the children came up in the reed. You have to be at this point in your life where there's nothing that you cannot release, darling dears. Don't let nobody hold you hostage. Especially when they'll be giving you the whisperings of Hannibal Lecter. You'll be dead before dawn. Tell me something else. A male and a female, darling dears, came out. And these are reversed, darling dears. Narcissists. Let them lie. Because Divine is about to make that lie loud, loud, loud. Let them tell their falsehoods. And in the Page of Swords in reverse, they're still watching, darling dears, but they don't know what's going on, what space your head is in, what your next move is. And that's something you never tell anybody. Your next move, your finances, and about your relationships, especially family business. Everything they did was a lie. Split the deck, darling dears. We have the Hangman, because Divine has told you to what? Give back the wood. Give back the wood. No more self-sacrifice into situations that was sent to break you down so that you could have the what? The rebirth. Let's take it to the final cards before we press on at a hot trot. We're going to use the ancestors. If you want to pick it up, go towards my Amazon store, darling dears. Look, the elastic band broke. Whenever it is broken, a cycle has broken. In the name of the Most High, listen to me, bestie. Their wrongs are about to be righted in your favor. Final card before we press on to get great. What's that? This fresh from a nap? In case you wonder why they give up, no matter how hard you focus, where you supposed to, you never win. Who's not gonna win? Who is this person? Hold on a minute. Listen, I got bigger fish to fry, darling dears. I swear down. Hold on. Final card, we have the Medicine Mother. Honor your inner knowing. Did I not just say this? With the High Priestess energy, you know what's going to happen, darling dears. And you must leave them to what? Deal with their own consequences. Saturn don't play. And if you take any of these people back into your hemisphere, remember, you are begging the Most High to give you their consequences and ramifications too. They must learn their lessons where they are. Let's take it to the book. Listen, I'm getting there. All on, I'm one person here. I'm doing my best, right? Medicine Mother is on page 52. Whenever we see the number 5 and 2 or 2 and 5, somebody is going down in a major way. For some, it will be on a public platform, but it can also represent the situation that you're in, darling dears. Somebody's going down. Bobby Brown, right? The 5 and the 2 go to a what? A 7. Have we not been talking about the energy of the 7 throughout this whole read? My cards don't play. For you to screenshot and read at your leisure or your leisure. I'll just go to the extended message. There is an old pattern rising up in you now, and it's time to deal with it and release it for good. You're being encouraged to love and respect yourself enough to take the steps you know you need to take. You know what to do, darling dears. Put yourself first, even before your progeny. Because like they say on an airplane, put the mask on yourself first before you can secure anyone else. This is your time, darling dears. You embrace the 6 G's. God, goals, gifts, greatness, growth, and the biggest of them all is gratitude. Sorry, my tummy keeps rumbling, right? But it's all confirmation, yeah, right? These people are hungry and they're thirsty and they're looking for someone else to take on their karma. Let it not be you, big cat. Let it not be you. On that note, I drops me mic. Toddle over to my Teesprings, pick up some of the channel merch. Go over to my Amazon, pick up my books, darling dears. They are all tools, and I've written them in such a way that they are easily understood and you can apply them to your situation. If you'd like a reading, a tarot reading, or an astrology report, hit me up at onebigcatchronicles@gmail.com. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. Look at that, the microphone fell on the floor. You see what I'm saying? Everything is going down, Bobby Brown. Every principality they built against you, they will pay. But it's not for you to sit down and wait for them to pay. You have to get gone, darling dears. Work on you. Work on you. Work on your finances. Divine is about to lift you up. Work on your home situation. Everything. Focus on you, not on them. And as I said, don't get smoked. Until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat, cat.